Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Klesitz. Our firm is called Vyral Marketing. Johnny is a client of our company. As you know, Johnny's up in Sacramento running a real estate team and is out there every day battling for listing business in a shifting market. There's no doubt it's more difficult than it has been before. And Johnny has decided to come on here and spend a whole hour with us and share with us everything he's doing with as much detail as we can give in an hour. So you can see maybe what is working for him to work for you. Maybe if you want to go, work on his team and use his culture and system to help us execute. I'm sure he'll be talking about that. I think the ultimate goal is everyone here can hear directly from Johnny and what he's doing for his marketing, what they're doing for prospecting, what they're doing for everything for their marketing plan, date listings. Thanks for joining us. Johnny, are you
Yeah.
ready, my friend?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's start here. How long have you been in real estate? How long have you been doing this?
Yeah. So not as long as many people in the industry. I got licensed in 2015 after reading this little purple book titled Rich Dad, Poor Dad, very common in our industry. Had this huge paradigm shift, transitioned out of the industry I was in into real estate. And what was unique about my transition, or at least unusual, is my wife Valerie and I, we changed markets 3 times in our first 4 years. And so you can imagine starting a boutique coffee shop, nobody knows you exist. Then all of a sudden, you start getting some traction in the community, and then you pick that coffee shop up and move it to a different city. We did that 3 times our first 4 years. By the fourth year, agents are typically seeing more repeat referral business. They're more embedded in the community, and we were starting out. We didn't know how to get to the gas station in the grocery store, but we were selling houses, and we were 100% commission based. It wasn't like Valerie had a job or I had a job and this was a side hustle. We were all in. And so that's how we got started. And then fast forward, we're selling a lot of houses on average, one every 3 days, and have tons of reviews, most Google reviewed team in the
Yeah.
area on billboards. And so, yeah, so what we do is we typically teach our agents how to get their businesses up and off the ground quickly or take their businesses to the next level.
Let me ask you this. We wrote this together about a shifting market.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Give me the state of at least what you're feeling and dealing with in conversations with sellers, like over the past 6 months, maybe a year in Sacramento when it comes to like getting a listing and getting it sold. What's on the sellers' minds and tell me about the difficulty or what you're dealing with from a context of like we have to create marketing that fits into this.
Yeah. So with sellers, I mean, it comes down to certainty. Earlier this year, they were not believing that their house was worth less than what their neighbor's house sold for. And that was a really tough pill for them to swallow. But now they're hearing it more on the news. Now they're seeing their neighbor's house is selling for less than what they maybe thought their house would go for. And the conversation is a little bit easier, but it's still a challenge because they want to sell their house for as much money as possible to move into that next property. And unfortunately, prices haven't come down. And so we're kind of stuck with sellers still wanting to sell their homes, at a price that in many instances may not be reality. We gotta have that conversation and letting them know that buyers are also nervous as well. And so if your house is going to sell, it has to be turnkey, it has to be ready to go, and or it has to be priced at a price point in a way that makes the buyer comfortable with picking your house out of the now, more options that we have on the market.
When you say more options, and how much is inventory up there?
Depends on the zip code. So whenever I meet with clients, one of the things I go through is um, we use trend graphics as one of the things, and there's 4 charts that we typically pull up. But one of them, and those trend graphics are initially based off zip code. And so what I'm seeing is an increase, sometimes 30–40% in the zip code in terms of inventory year over year. And you can see the for sales are in a light green and the solds are in a dark green. You can see sales have remained relatively flat year over year, but the inventory has increased significantly.
Okay. So that's kind of the context of what's going through a seller's mind. So in good
Yeah.
marketing, you always want to like open your message, open your email, open your social media post, always entering the conversation kind of already going on in the seller's mind. And I think its prices are lower than what they were. And
In
there's a
many
little more,
instances, not in every zip code, but in many.
that's the
Yeah.
reality that people are understanding if they need to sell.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's now go through your marketing plan. I want you to explain maybe step by step, pillar by pillar, what you're doing to put messages in front of homeowners or maybe buyers that have a home to sell, right?
Hmm.
That gets them to talk to you and gets the conversation started or generates initial interest. Walk us through.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the plan?
So let's say on its most basic format, there's three main pillars that we focus on and Made for More Realty. The first is the sphere, the second is the pond, and the third are like the new leads that are coming through. So let's just take the sphere of influence. So I recently purchased, well, it's been a couple of years now, but I bought Tom Dave's book of business a while back. And one of the things, one of the value behind doing that was his past clients, was his date, was his database. And so whether you've been doing this, 1 year or 10 years, like you need to have that database. And so what we do is when agents join our team, and for the existing agents on our team, is we upload that into Follow Up Boss. It's a CRM we use. We upload it into Follow Up Boss. We scrub it out, make sure the emails are good, the contacts are good. And then because it's in Follow Up Boss, we're now able to start remarketing to it. So we run remarketing ads. It's branded and Made for More Realty. So as long as the agents, all they have to do as far as their sphere goes, that initial call is you just have to let them know, hey, I joined this great team. Here's why, here's the benefits. By the way, you might be hearing more about from me and the team in the future. And so when they see those remarketing ads going through Facebook and Instagram, they associate it with their agent that is on the team. So that's one thing that we're doing, and that just helps keep us top of mind. The agents don't have to lift a finger, it happens automatically. The second thing we do is we send out three newsletter, like email marketing campaigns through Vyral, two video, one text every single month. And then the agents have access to the clicks and opens. And so we strongly encourage that they call the clicks and opens. Honestly, we will call them for them. We have ISAs that do that. And so the whole idea is the fastest way for agents to make money is to have somebody that already knows, likes, and trusts them, refer them or send them business. And so that's the first sphere. Or excuse me, that's the first pillar is the sphere. And then for those of people who are listening, like, hey, I don't want to put my database into a team's database. What if they steal my leads? That's not our goal. And so our adoption rate's really high because we let them know, I'm not trying to sell your grandma a house. I'm trying to help you sell more houses. And then if you win, because everybody typically leaves a team, like they start on a team or relaunch on a team, then they go to be solo agents, and sometimes they start their own teams. What we'll do is we'll send that database, we'll export it out, give them the database, give them their follow-up boss on a silver platter, so then they can go and plug it into whatever system they want. So that's the first pillar, and we're just staying top of mind through digital campaigns and emails. The
That's great.
second, yeah, and then the second thing we do is we do have a pond, and so in that pond is approximately 25,000 sellers that leads that we've generated over the years and 15,000 buyers. And so once an agent is finished with the onboarding and has contacted their sphere, they then are trained on the pond. So they always have somebody to reach out to. And what we're doing on the pond is, again, they're getting the retargeting messages, they're getting the viral messages. And then we also are using this. Oh, another thing we use is we use Fellow. And so what that is for people who have um, for people who are listening, they might be familiar with HomeBot. It's like HomeBot on steroids. It's a way better product, far more expensive product, but it's a great product because it sends those marketing updates to the clients on a regular basis. It's monthly, or it'll adjust the frequency based off what they want. So, and that's coming from the agent. So it's not coming from Johnny. It's coming from Frank Klesitz, at Made for More Realty. And then the agent gets to see whenever anybody clicks, opens, and they can reach out and give them a call. For example, rates are now, you can get rates in the high fives. And what Fellow can do is it can also identify people who have interest rates above 7%, or you can set it to be any, but let's say anybody above 7 might be interested in refinancing. So what we can do is we can create that list in Fellow, that agent can, and then go and call these people and say, hey, you know what? I just was reaching out. I'm not trying to sell you anything. well, we sold you a house a few years back. It looks like you had a 7% interest rate. I don't know if you're aware, but interest rates in the fives. I just wanted to let you know that I can help you get that refinance and save you some money. And so there's just all these tools, all these different ways for us to follow up. And then the third thing that we do as far as the pond and the sphere go combined is we do quarterly events. So in August, we did a party in the park. There was a bounce house. We had it catered, and it was just a good time. November 20th, we're doing a Christmas photo shoot with Santa. So we're hiring Santa and a bunch of people to come out. And our agents are now able to promote that to their sphere, promote it to their clients. It gives us a reason to follow up. Maybe somebody's ghosting us and they're not responding. Hey, I'm not trying to press you to buy or sell a house right now. I just want to let you know we have this appreciation event. I'd be happy. I'd be honored if you would attend. It's for you. And so we're doing all these different value adds, these reasons for people to reach out that aren't necessarily salesy, but are helping us stay top of mind. And then the third thing that we're doing, so those are, more like sphere pond. The third thing that we're doing is we spend a significant amount of money every single month generating new business. And so we're running ads on radio. We have over 20 billboards in the area. We do
Do
Facebook.
you really?
hmm
20 billboards.
20 digital. They're digital billboards, so they're not like
Yeah,
this.
still good for you.
Thank you. Yeah. So the billboards, I don't know if I trust the billboard company, but the billboard
Oh,
company
if they run them.
well, no, they're running, but they're saying that on average it's 5 million local impressions because they're billboards, 5 million impressions a week, and so 20 million impressions a month. That's a lot of exposure, and so we're running Google ads, we're doing all the traditional stuff, but then we also have a team of appointment setters who field those calls when they come in, and so the ads, like the call to actions would be like Bay Area buyers, guaranteed offers, guaranteed offer on your home. Um, what's your home really worth? A lot of people are really curious what their home's like truly worth. That's on the seller side. And so we're generating this business. Our appointment setters set the appointments for the agents, and then the agents go and conduct the appointments. So does that kind of help, Frank? I know there's a lot of different things,
Yeah.
but
Well, we'll dive deeper into it. Well, first, maybe I think through all of that marketing, there are very key, unique selling propositions and call to actions for immediate response that you're using. Let's go a little deeper into them. So you had to sit down, you're writing a check for radio, and they're probably asking you, like, what's the offer? Like, why do you want them to call? What's the message? So what's the message in the moment that you're running on radio that you want people to hear to call you? Give us an idea of
yeah.
what you think the right thing to say on radio is right now.
So what I hear people say in the living room or at the kitchen table, the reason why I called you is, and there's a couple that consistently come up. One is the reason why I called you is I want to see what a cash offer would be. They want that guaranteed offer. They they've heard
Oh,
of
they're calling you. So the reason I'm calling you is I want the cash offer.
Yep, that's why they're
Yep.
calling us. So when I meet with people, because we have all these different lead sources and they kind of overlap. Like, did they hear me on the radio, or did they see the billboard, or did they Google me and see the 1,000+ five-star? Like, how did you find out about me originally? And then that's typically where they say, I always ask that question. How did you find out about me originally? Well, I heard you on the radio and I was really interested in, and I hear guaranteed offers. They want that certainty. Bay Area buyers, again, speaks to certainty. And then a distant third would be the fix before you list program.
Hold on. What was the second? The guaranteed sale?
Bay
Hold
Area
on.
buyers is second.
I'm sorry. So the first one is cash offer.
Yeah.
The second one is what?
Bay Area buyers. So it's like the San Francisco area.
Hmm.
About 15 to 18% of our market on a given year are people moving out here. And they're selling a home that's a fraction the size of homes in Sacramento,
Come on
many
here.
times the amount. And so they make for great buyers.
So what does that mean? I mean, that's an ad you're running on the radio?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're just talking about how we have Bay Area buyers. And
Oh, so you have the buyers.
Mhm.
Johnny has the baybuyers.com or something like that.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, okay. All right. I like this. So it's kind of like, can you articulate how you communicate? You can get someone a cash offer on the radio. Like, how would you say that? Like, hey, strangers.
So this is, yeah. So the talent. So we're endorsed by Christina Mendoza over at KFBK and by Pat and Cody over on KNCI. And so when they're endorsing us, they're the talent. They all put their own special spin on it. But essentially, what we're telling people is we have these guaranteed offers. We have these Bay Area buyers. And then when they sit down and they're like, well, what does this mean? How do you find these people? It's very simple. Through geo-targeting or geo-fencing and retargeting, we're able to identify people in the Bay who are looking to make a move out here, and we'll promote your home to them. We can do the same thing like based off migration maps and promote like YouTube ads. So when I take a luxury property, I've recently started doing videos, and a value add to the sellers is like you for the people who are local, you can go on and look at other people who have their other brokerages and agents who have their luxury listings on YouTube, and you see like 300 views, 500 views, maybe 1,000. Like typically we'll get over like 120, 130,000 views on our property, on our luxury listing videos. And that's a value add for these sellers.
I'm gonna write these out. Call me to get a cash offer on your home and find out how much the offer price is for you. Sounds like
Oh,
that's
that's what I
number.
was going to say. So the other thing that differentiates us is, so they're hearing all these cash offers. Like if you listen to the radio or if, you hop on Zillow, Open will give them a cash offer. Like, but the thing is those investors are only representing themselves. They're going to come in and give the best offer for themselves, the investor, not the best offer for the homeowner. Contrast that, we have a black book of over 100 investors. And so what we'll do is we'll promote their property to those investors, get them multiple offers, and then let them pick the best offer that works for them. And I represent them through the process. It's not the investor trying to pull one over and make a lot of money at their expense.
That's a really sharp script. The black book of buyers. If we have time, we can go in and share everyone how to build that list and how to build a VIP buyer list. We're going to bring them in some offers. Let's keep going back to these call to actions. Get a cash
Yeah.
offer on your home to find out how much the seller, how much the offer price would be. We have Bay Area buyers coming over here and put your home in front of them. And the third one was home value.
Oh, fix before you list.
Explain that. I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah. So it's very simple. What we do is so I don't pay the money. I don't do any of that. I have contractors who are willing to essentially bill through escrow. And so what we'll do is we'll come out, they'll walk the property. So this is like this, I mean, everybody who's listening to this is probably local. That's the goal. And so two things that sellers really enjoy, two services that we provide is one, we actually pay somebody to go out and meet with them before picture day. So it's either a photographer or a stager to go out and tell them how to get the home ready. And the reason why they like that is the sellers don't know what to do. And I don't like being the one that say, hey, get rid of the dog smell, get all your family photos off the walls. I don't have to be the bad guy. They can do it. And so I was just at a property in Grass Valley. The people worked really hard to get it show ready. And all they did is they followed the punch list based off what we provided. And so not me, but my home readiness consultant. And so what that home readiness consultant will do is they'll come give them ideas, give them tips. They can do all of it. I always tell them you can do all the things, you can do none of the things. It's your house, your rules, but here's what we advise. And then once that's done, then the contractor can also come out and give them bids based off certain things that may need to be done, like dry rot, upgrading light fixtures, um, hardware, things like that.
So this is maybe get a complimentary pre-listing renovation estimate.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
so, but the thing is they're always like, we'll send them out, let's talk to them, and then we'll decide to move forward. Like I'm like, hey, I'd love to do that, but in order for us to begin the process, we have to complete the agreement. And so that's the line in the sand for us. Like we've already done so much work for them for free at that point. If they're going to commit with us and move forward with us, then we're happy to, pay to have the home readiness consultant isn't free. I'm paying somebody to go out to the house. The contractor has to go out, take time out of his day to get a bid, and he doesn't know if they're going to move forward with the work or not. So to protect my contractors and my vendors, that's the line in the sand is, hey, before we move forward, you know,
Fine.
sign the agreement.
That's good, Johnny. So I think everyone here I think maybe another webinar could be how do you build out a cash offer program that's not a full bait and switch where you really have people ready to go? How do you have a list of buyers coming over from the Bay Area that's legitimate, that have the intent and ability to close? And then how do you actually build out a listing renovation program with contractors and how do you do that right? I think all three of those are like separate webinars,
Yeah, those would
uh,
be separate.
aren't
Yeah.
they? On like how to actually set up those programs, those unique value propositions. But it sounds like that's ultimately why someone's starting a conversation with you are those top three things on the listing side, right?
Correct. It just they want certainty and simplicity.
That's really valuable, guys. What Johnny said there for messaging guidance. Okay. So let's go back, maybe work a little bit farther backwards. How do you create the environment? Well, I guess you do this, you do events. Let me ask you this. When people come to your event, you do these events 4 times a year. What are you doing at the event so people start maybe starting to have a real estate conversation with you as opposed to just hanging out the whole time and leaving? Is it
Yeah, I mean,
let's
it's
let's
pretty,
talk about that.
it's inherent, right? They know we're all realtors, right? And they come, and it's a good value add for our vendors as well. So vendors like, um, they'll come, and so now they're, oh, you inspected my house, or oh, you were the escrow officer. It's so great to meet you in person. Um, so we'll have the vendors, and so just having all the different agents and all the different vendors around, it just turns into a conversation. And what I like too is people just naturally come up and they always want to know what's going on with the market. That's the question. So whether I just sold them a house or whether I met them last week and or whether their family and friends, they're always asking what's going on with the market. So we don't really push much. We want them to be there to have fun and have a good time, but organically, we're a bunch of real estate agents. People are always curious about what's happening in the market, especially in a
It's like
changing market.
you don't even need to do anything. It's
You don't
obvious.
know, it just happens. Yeah.
Just happens. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. Maybe speak a little bit with the viral that you're doing. So you're
hmm
making these videos, you're coming up with topics. Speak a little bit about the general interest topics that you're sending out to your database, but also maybe share how we tag along call to actions to it, to everything that we do.
Yeah, so there's always like a call to action. There's always a reason to pick up the phone or a reason to click on the email. But the ones like that I find are getting higher clicks and opens are the ones that are speaking to a homeowner's fear, right? Like, is my house worth less now than last year? Why are homes
Great
falling out
topic.
of
Hold
contract?
on, let's go back. Is my house worth less than last year? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the second one?
Why are homes falling out of escrow? Why are buyers canceling?
Ooh, that's our topic for this month, Johnny. Hold on. Let's see if I nailed it. So what I did is I'm posting here some of the suggested topics that are pre-written by Viral. I'm going to put that in the chat if I haven't already. I think November is, hang on.
I was joking with my
Yeah,
person.
I'm
I
sorry.
was joking with Bridget. I'm like, he's reading my wall. These are all the ones I wanted to send out.
Yeah, why do buyers back out at closing the last minute?
Yeah.
Man, that's good. All right, so the
Um,
second one is basically that, right? Why do buyers back out at closing the last minute?
Another one that because I feel really bad for homeowners who they have this expectation that this guaranteed offer or this open door or this local investor is going to come in, pay them market value for their house. And I understand why some of them feel this way. In 2019 to 2021, a lot of like open door Zillow offers when
They're
Zillow
pretty
offers,
close.
yeah, they were paying like top dollar. And so some of them have experienced that, but that's not the market they're in today. That's not the market that's not where they're buying the homes today. And so they have this expectation. And I have to, let them know, hey, that is not the market we're in right now. And really, they're a for-profit company and they're trying to profit at your expense. Sometimes I have to be a little bit more direct like that. I get it. I'm a for-profit company, right? I'm not against the profit aspect of it, but what I don't like is that the company comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to give you this much money," and then they sign an agreement, and then they adjust the price down because they do inspections, and then the seller ends up with less than what they were hoping for. And so, a great email topic was, "When is a guaranteed offer good for you?" or things to look out if you're considering accepting a guaranteed offer?
Needs to look out for when accepting. To speak to that, Johnny, um, uh, I'm always looking for like what messages like the big boys use. Like I look for like what are like the multi-million-dollar advertising budgets
Yeah,
when they're doing their focus groups, like what are they using?
yeah,
And I'm driving down the interstate in Texas where we're in the real estate game there. And I pull over to the side of the interstate and my and my wife's like, Kim's like, what are you doing? Like, look at this billboard. It's for We Buy Ugly Houses. We Buy Ugly Houses has a billboard on the interstate. The message, look at the message. It's uh our offers are firm and don't change. That
that's
was the message on the billboard for
yeah.
We Buy Ugly Houses. Our offers are firm and don't change. And they probably found that from the focus groups and every little research they did, that's what the consumer wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the number one complaint I hear. I mean, we've even taken listings from people who backed out of open door offers because they were promised this and then they got into it and it ended up being less than what they were hoping for.
Good to know. So you guys got some video topics here of what you send it out. We got some call to actions, which you can go to Chat GPT, everyone, and say, hey, I'm trying to put together a cash offer program. I'm trying to put together a VIP buyer list program. I would Google it. You'll probably find other agents running those messages on their websites. And it's interesting if you just kind of ask AI like how these are structured, it gives you a good plan of how they work because AI has sucked up all the coaching materials that have been on it over the years and can regurgitate it to you, which is very helpful. All right. Let's see here. Where else will work back? So you have your events, you have your viral marketing, you have your fellow, which strips on, homeowners with very nuanced, data-driven insights about
Hmm.
what's going on with their home. Um, Talk a little bit about these appointment setters, these ISAs. That's pretty cool. So
They are cool.
so explain this decision where someone else is going to make the call, set the appointment versus the agent being fully responsible for that.
Yeah. So the agents are completely empowered. They can do it. What we have found is that, somebody who's focused on just that activity tends to have more success in it. My disclaimer as far as ISAs go is if you haven't hired anybody or you haven't managed anybody before or trained anybody, there's going to be a learning curve for you. Um, we've hired in the last few years 15, probably a total of 15 ISAs, and we only have a handful that have remained. So
Mhm.
it is a bit of a numbers game. It's it's not you hire one and it's a silver bullet that's going to solve your problems. But when you find good ones and you've trained them and you hang in there with them, and it's a total game changer. And so what our guys do is they're working 7 days a week. That's another value add for the sellers. Is like I can't tell you how many times I'm in a living room and they're like, "Yeah, I called you and then I called three other agents to interview them, but nobody's gotten back to me, or they took days to get back to me." Your people answer the phone and you're here the next day. Like that's a huge differentiator versus the solo agent who, is in an appointment, maybe picking kids up from school, showing property. They're spinning all these plates. And so having those people that can answer the phones and get back to clients quickly and professionally is invaluable. And so what our guys, where I get them is they work remote and they are all based out of Mexico. And I've done that intentionally because these specific individuals, they learned English in the US. So they have perfect English. Like they sound as American as the next person, but they also speak Spanish, which is important in our market. And they understand the culture. So one of the guys on my team, he was talking about how he loves the Seattle Seahawks. Like that's his favorite team because he grew up in Washington State, right? And so they understand the culture and they're on a similar time zone. With the time change, the whole daylight savings thing, instead of them being 1 hour different from us, they're now two. But that's way different than somebody who's in the Philippines who's working nights to work on Pacific time. And so between the accent, the culture, they're super nice, they're hard workers. It's really been a game changer for us. And so how we find them is you can either go through companies. There's companies that offer the service. But what we've started doing is we've started using a thing called Wise Hire. Are you familiar with Wise Hire, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we just run an ad in Wise Hire and then interview and hire them. And so, and we use so Wise Hire is like the Indeed. It syndicates out to multiple job boards, and then we use the Wise app to pay them. And that's kind of how we handle it. But they have metrics. They have to send their end of day reports every single day showing what they did. They have to hit at least 150 dials a day. They have appointment set, appointment met guidelines. So yeah.
That's such a competitive advantage, man. You go direct on the job boards in Mexico, like any other job. People apply and interview them. They work from home.
Yep.
And you probably have the regular meetings and the huddles and the phone system. You got to figure all that out. There's another webinar.
Yeah.
Probably a
And what's
couple.
great is it's so impactful. Like these guys, like they they're such close friends. We work so closely together 7 days a week. And once a year we do like a work event in Cabo with one of my business partners. And so they're in Mexico, so then they fly out to Cabo and we're all hanging out. It's just they're just a good group of guys. But what's really inspiring is I can pay them a wage that makes sense for me, and it's life-changing for them.
Yeah.
My guys, he's making the same amount of money as lawyers and doctors make in his town, and so he's happy. It's had a profound impact on his family. He's gotten married. He's had a son, all during the time that he's met with us and so or worked with us. So the ISAs, and so the leads come in, the ISAs set the appointments for the agents, and the agents can go out and conduct the appointments. But not everybody qualifies for the ISAs. We do have a weekly certification process. It's really simple. You have to make 100 dials a week. So 20 dials a day if you're working 5 days a week, and then you get access to the appointment setters. Who are you dialing? You're calling your sphere, you're calling through the pond, you're calling, fielding calls about your escrows. It's not hard to qualify for it, but we had to have some bar to separate the people who are interested in working the business versus those who aren't.
It's such a strong recruiting message that if you're a certain level of production and you're, qualified for the job, I'll redefine it. We book your appointments for you. Is that safe to say that you do that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 I think you can always debate what a lead is, like different types of leads, different lead qualities. Like, what does a lead mean?
Yeah.
Right? A lot harder to debate an appointment,
Yeah.
especially when it shows up that knows you're in real estate. There's it's a lot more tangible. And I think a lot of the industry with all the technology and different platforms out there is the appointment setters are an extension of the marketing department where sales starts with the appointment, not the lead so much.
Mm-hmm.
Where you really took that really seriously, man. That's a real value proposition of like, you do the marketing, then you spend the extra money on, calling the leads, defining the appointment to hand the appointment over, which is really cool. Good job on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the linchpin. If the ISA department shut down tomorrow, like my quality of life would go down significantly. My agent's quality of life would go down significantly because now we have to be working. There's another hat we have to wear where we
Yeah,
always have to be answering the phone.
correct. All right. So the appointment setters. I'm trying to think what else. What you're doing to get listings in a shifting market. And by the way, anyone watching this live, if you just want to ask a question in the chat or you want to use the Q&A for a question for Johnny, feel free to ask. This is a good time to ask him. But I do see a lot of trainings here that go a lot deeper on some of these systems that you built, man.
Yeah. some things that's like people may be wondering, how do I run the retargeting campaigns? Like those are really simple. I use a company named Street Text. And so they sync up to Follow Up Boss. That's why I use Follow Up Boss, is it just integrates with everything, like a deep integration. And then I can and so as long as people are in Follow Up Boss, they're automatically getting retargeted by Street Text. And then another tool that I actually found out about this tool at one of your events, Frank, Showami.
Mhm.
So it's what we use Showami for, guys, if you're on this call and you're thinking, how can I make more money in real estate? I just don't have a lot of closings going on. Check out Showami. You can get paid to sit open houses. You can get paid to meet buyers of property. You can get paid to sit at inspections. And so what Showami does is it really helps us sometimes when time is tight, be in multiple places at the same time. So if I have a buyer looking at property in Auburn, but I have another buyer that wants to see property in El Dorado Hills, I might go to the Auburn one, be showing them property while I have an agent from Shawami showing them a property in El Dorado Hills. So that way I can be in two places at once. So some little tech tips, some things that have really been game changers for us.
That's great. I'm looking at Street Text. What are the ads that are working for retargeting? What's the messages?
Yeah, so for the ads, a lot of it is really just our listings, right? And so you're seeing the people being busy. So this is another pro tip, guys. If you're listening, like my team probably, I don't know, would want me saying all this stuff, but a differentiator for me in the living room is, one of the things we promise is we don't do the three Ps, or we don't just do the three Ps. Three Ps being your traditional agent's marketing plan, where the agent puts a sign in the yard, put the home on the MLS, and then they pray that the home sells, right? Those are the traditional three Ps. The seller laughs every time because they're like, yeah, that sounds familiar. So what we'll do is we'll do the three Ps, but we take it a step further with our marketing. And so what we're doing is we're actually running ads on behalf of the seller on Instagram and Facebook. And they're like, well, and I've been told so many times, oh, well, all agents do that. All agents do that. I go, okay, great. Well, who else are you interviewing? And then they'll tell me on Meta Ads Library, you can look that agent up.
Dude, yeah,
You
it's
can look it
real.
up and you can
Yeah.
see what ads they're running. And I tell you, 95 times out of 100, nobody's running ads.
Let's speak to that. If you guys Google Meta Ad Library, this was after like the Cambridge Analytica and like all the Russian hacking accusations and sketchiness of what Facebook was dealing with back in the day, and probably still to some aspect today, is they decided to make all the ads everyone's running on the platform public. And the Facebook ad library is you can type in any page name and see what ads they're running. So if you want to see all of Johnny Jennings ads, go type in the name of this company and you'll see them.
And just
If
type in
you,
Management Realty. Yeah, you'll see them.
you'll see them. You type in Vyral Marketing, you'll see Vyral Marketing ads. You can type in any competitor, anyone, you'll see all the ads they're running. So if someone ever claims they're running ads, you go check their page. And then a nuance to that is maybe they're running under a different page. You try to find that out, but then you'll know.
Yep.
That's
And
smart,
so,
Johnny.
yeah, so I mean that's been huge for sellers because again, I'm not telling them what I'm going to do. I'm showing them here are the ads I'm running on behalf of my sellers right now. Like I'm already doing this. Let's see what the other agent's doing. So that's a huge differentiator. And you guys may be thinking,
That's
okay, a
good.
lot of this has to do with once you're in the living room. I agree. Like a lot of this is once you're in the living room, but the goal is to once you're in the living room, get a referral, get somebody else to like that homeowner to send you another lead so that way you can keep that going because then it has its own flywheel effect. And so we do ask for referrals. I ask for it in the listing appointment. Every single time I ask, hey, by the way, who do you know that's looking to make a move in the next year or two? I ask for that in the listing appointment. We ask for it when it's under contract. We ask for it when they close. We're always asking for the referrals. So just because you may only work with one buyer or one seller a month that doesn't mean that you can't leverage that one into two or three.
Johnny, this is good stuff, man. You nailed it. Thank you.
Awesome. I see
Gary
Gary.
Lee asks. Yeah,
Yeah. So
you're still
yes,
with
Gary,
EXP.
I am still with EXP. EXP allows us to white label. So it's called the corporate DBA, doing business as. And so it allows us to do that. And so that's why I'm able to run with Made for More Realty versus the EXP logo being like powered by or brokered by. So I have that. I believe Prime Real Estate in our market is also a white label with EXP. I think Real provides it, the white labeling thing as well. So it's not something exclusive to us, but yes, still with EXP.
That's cool. So they let you DBA their corporation in the state of California for your entity.
Correct. Yeah. So
Mhm.
all my agreements, it's Made for More Realty. Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know that. That's new.
Yeah.
Is it relatively new?
Um, March of last year.
Oh,
So
well,
relatively, yeah.
relatively new. Yeah. What are the questions you guys have for Johnny? Feel free to ask. And then Johnny, if somebody wanted to talk to you one-on-one, maybe for some personalized advice or some detail that they would love from you that we didn't go into today.
Yeah. We're always
What's
happy
next?
to do that. So our offices are headquartered out of Roseville, so off of Pleasant Grove and 65, um, like across from the Chick-fil-A, if that means anything to you listening. We're happy to meet you in person. Or you can just reach out to me on Instagram. Just Google my name, Johnny Jennings, you'll find me. Or you can, shoot me a text. My phone number here. Can I drop it in
Yeah,
chat?
you can type it. Just make sure it says to everyone, right? And then again, feel free to ask any questions here. I'll just ask you one question, Johnny. I mean, I'm with Vyral Marketing. Why do you stick around? Why do you hire us? Why don't you tell the audience why you hire Vyral for that aspect of your marketing plan? If anyone that wanted to ask you, what would you say to them?
Yeah. So I hire Vyral because they provide that essentially the 36 touch type program. It's turnkey. It takes about 15 minutes every month for me to record the videos, like the monthly set of videos, and then I'm done. So for about 15 minutes, and then I do approve every email before it goes out. So maybe 3 minutes per approval. So maybe for a total time commitment of somewhere around 20 minutes. Not only myself, but the entire team has a 36 touch email marketing campaign that's going out. Um, but here's the thing, guys, if you're not, I, I'm just gonna be real with you about the email thing. If you're not gonna call them, if you're not gonna call the clicks and the opens, if you're not as serious enough about your business to like pick up the phone and talk with people who are opening your emails that you're, sending out, then I wouldn't do it. It'll make you feel good, but it's not gonna have the same impact as if
No.
you pick up the phone.
In
Um,
in a really easy, happy, exciting, everything's cheap market. You can send out marketing and like people call you. The more difficult times relative to what it is now with existing home sales and affordability. Your marketing really just kind of lays down the foundation so they know you. So that when you call to start the conversation, they actually pay attention to you. It's
yeah.
more of like the laying the foundation so they treat you with respect when you call and they know who you are.
Yeah. And the thing that I don't know how I'd even put a value on it, right? Like a dollar value is um, the insight and the information that you have. So you recently spoke at a realtor huddle and you
Thank
gave
you.
us a tip about direct mail.
Yeah,
Like that is going to make us so much money. It's so valuable. And that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't a viral client. And so it's not just the email, it's also access to who Frank knows.
thank
Frank,
you.
I mean, we were in
Yeah,
San Diego
yeah.
and we had the guy who wrote
The
Nick
golden
Crowder.
handoff. Yep.
Yeah.
You wrote a
So
book on how to take over a real estate agent's database.
yeah, and this dude, I modeled how I bought Tom's business based off of this, and I actually got to meet the guy in person. Greg Glover, um,
Jeff Glover.
Jeff Glover with Glover
Yeah.
U. I mean, he was there. It was just, I don't know. That's that's another reason why I choose to hang around is because I learned so much being around the viral ecosystem.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, we're all good, man. You definitely delivered for sure. And I just want to let you to know that everyone will have a copy of the replay here. If you want to go back with Johnny, there's his contact information. Like with any free webinar, like let's hop on, let's get some good tips. Let's see what people are doing. Maybe you can take one key idea from today and go execute in your business and use it to get you from where you are to where you want to go. Is there
Love
anything
it.
else I had to share, Johnny?
Last thing, I just want to make sure that people, because I know we're in like EXP Mecca here in Sacramento. This is not like a recruiting downline thing. This is like helping agents thing. And if you're a good fit for us, we'd love to, have a conversation. But at the end of the day, I think a rising tide lifts all ships. Hopefully you guys got value out of this. Please don't let the EXP thing turn you off. So,
That's nice, Johnny. Thanks for sharing
yeah.
that. All right, everyone. Good job, Johnny. We'll end it there. We
All right.
appreciate
Thanks,
everyone. We'll
Frank.
send the replay out. Bye,
See
everybody.
ya.